Alright chums, it's Kel again. Today we're going to do an experiment to see if we can convert an air compressor pump into a negative pressure or a vacuum pump. Now vacuum pumps are usually crazy expensive and air compressor pumps are usually cheap. This one was in fact cheap as free, and judging by the fact that it actually still had the tag on it and no oil in the sump here, I would say this has actually never been used. So it's got a bit of damage on the fins here, but it makes no difference to me. Want to build a vacuum forming machine, so we need to make a way of generating negative pressure. So when it's running as a compressor pump, the air is drawn into this side with a filter and pumped down this side into the tank. What we're going to do is actually leave that open and measure the vacuum draw we can get on this side. If we can get something around 1 bar, I reckon that'll be pretty useful for what I want it to be doing, and I think it should be possible, but let's find out for sure. Alright, so as I said, it's got no oil in the sump. I need to change that. Here's my fancy makeshift funnel, just with a paper rolled into a cone. It's worked for me for years. Now I'm just waiting until the oil fills up till this red dot here. Now I'm going to throw this away. I'll put it into the fire. Put the breather cap back on. Okay, so the thread fitting for this is actually a 1/2 inch NPT. Now here in Australia, everything that's specialist fitting, you can pretty much add 10 times the price. So what I'm going to use instead is actually this plumbing fitting, which is 1/2 inch BSP thread. Now there is differences in the thread form. An NPT thread will have very sharp threads, and each one will be 60 degrees, while a BSP thread uses the Whitworth form, which is more like this, with rounded off corners and valleys, and they'll be at 55 degrees. But for this size, and I think 3/4, they're pretty much dead on being the exact same pitch and size, so we can get away with using BSP threads for this, because close enough is good enough. Now one of the things here in Australia is that these are all plumbing fittings which are BSP, a British Standard Pipe Thread, and this is NPT, National Pipe Taper. And because we've been using the metric system here in Australia since 1966, they put 15 millimeters on here. However, this is nothing to do with millimeters. This is a BSP 1/2 inch thread. The 1/2 inch is measure of the internal diameter because it's a pipe fitting, and it's getting a bit rainy here, probably hard to hear me. But it's a silly idea to put 15 millimeters on there. It makes no sense. There's nothing on here that's got anything to do with a metric anything. So just call it what it is, and this is a 1/2 inch BSP. So if my calculations are accurate, this should fit in here good enough to make it work. And it does in there plenty good enough. I need to attach a vacuum gauge, and what I've got in my workshop is this one for measuring engine vacuum. And it's got this hose here, so I went through the parts box and found this irrigation fitting with I think it's a 5mm thread on there, and it'll fit on this end. So if I tap this for this 5mm thread, we should have something that'll work. And we only need it to work for a few seconds just to get the reading, so let's hope for the best. Alright. There we are. It's not legal unless it's CE marked. Good to go. Alright. Let's see what we get. See if we get any sparks and explosions. Oh, that'd be right. I just wired a 15 amp plug into it. Alright, good to go. Let's see if we get any smokes and explosions. We get nothing. That still kept it smoking, so that's something. Well, I really expected something to happen then, so let's check the basics and see if we've got voltage. Oh, helps if I turn it on. $252 volts. Right, so I actually have had another one. So this is the original one, Luke and Leia. And Luke is going away. He was always whining anyway. So let's repeat as before. Alright kids, maxed out the gauge, so we've got a full bar, 25 inches of mercury, negative pressure. That experiment was a success. Thanks for watching, see you next time.